Hi, let's talk Senegalese football and the consistency of the Teranga Lions. There's no doubt the Teranga Lions have been exceptional in the tournament so far in the African Cup of Nations. Two wins in two games, scoring over 4 goals in both games, and conceding just 1 goal in the process, and leading to the game itself. They played 5 games, not leading to the game. Now they've played 5 games, they've drawn one, and they've kept about 4 clean sheets in the last 5 games they've played. The Teranga Lions have been exceptional. And if there's one thing that's been working for them, is the fact that they've been consistent over time. They've been consistent with the coaching staff. They've been consistent with player progression from the lower cadres of the national team to the Teranga Lions themselves. The successes they've had in the under-17s and in the 20s have also reflected in the national team itself. So far, we can see that, of course, the Teranga Lions and the Senegalese national team is a shining example for the whole of Africa. And the countries like Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Ivory Coast, of course, that's Côte d'Ivoire, Ghana, Cameroon, can emulate this. Zambia can also emulate this and see where that takes African football. And apart from Morocco, who are actually going toe-to-toe with the Teranga Lions of Senegal with respect to the development of the game, I think other countries are lagging as regards this. When you talk about consistency, Aliou Cisse was became coach of the national team in 2015, and he's been there ever since then. That's over 5 years he's been part of that side. And amongst the top national teams within the context of Africa, there's no nation that can confidently say, oh, we've had a particular coach for a very long time. And that in itself is a problem, because it means that there are no systems created. And if there were systems created, those systems are not sustained over time. It is important to have a vision, execute the vision, and have a plan as to how to go about it. Whether it's Nigeria, whether it's Ghana, whether it's Zambia, whether it's Cameroon, to catch the likes of Senegal, to catch the likes of Morocco. And not to even mention Morocco, because really the success of Morocco came into limelight following their World Cup heroics. That being said, it was a turbulent start to that World Cup itself. But I think the World Cup kind of encapsulated everything and made it look as though the challenges were not there. I think the challenges are still very much there, but then the Morocco is trying to bring themselves back up. But the Teranga Lions have had a plan, and that plan has been working over time. The consistency of the side, the fact that Aliou Cisse had faith in him and they've stuck with him over time, is something that is worthy of emulation. For instance, Nigeria has had several coaches since 2015 to this point, and it's also worthy of note that in 2019 Nigeria had a different coach at the African Cup of Nations. In 2022, in Cameroon, or 21-22 in Cameroon, Nigeria also had a different coach at that Nations Cup. And now in 2023 Nations Cup, which is played in 2024, Nigeria also has a different national team coach going into that one. It doesn't show consistency. It doesn't show a side that's got a plan as to how to develop the national team, and this is correct. All right. So, but when you look at Senegal, the successes they've achieved on field and off field, you could tie that to the consistency of the federation with respect to appointing coaches, with respect to moving players from the lower grades of the national team to the higher grades, which is the Teranga Lions. You look at Papa Metesa, you look at Sarr himself, you look at also all of the young talents there. You look at Diatawa, Diwara. Those are wonderful talents. They've been able to progress them. They've been able to kind of create a synergy between the national team and the entirety of the Senegalese people. Okay, and also the older ones are being eased out in a way that it doesn't look as though they are being thrown out of the team. Right, so there's a blend of young youths and experience within the Teranga Lion ranks, and this is something that all the national teams can emulate if they can be patient, have the time to do so, and everything. It's also worthy of note that in 2019, the Teranga Lions got to the finals of the African Cup of Nations that Algeria finally won. And the following Nations Cup, they got to the final again and eventually won it for the first time in their history. And now, in this current African Cup of Nations, they've been exceptional. If there is something that is worthy of note, I think it's the consistency of the side. And that is something all other federations are supposed to emulate. Whether it's Zambia, whether it's Cameroon, whether it's Côte d'Ivoire, whether it's Ghana, whether it's Nigeria. Their consistency is worthy of emulation. And that is the only way we can get African football to the heights that it needs to be.